Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, words my brethren all around the world watching this video. I hope you're having a great day today as tuning in. Make sure you do yourself a damn favor and hit that subscribe button, and surely you will not be disappointed. Now, there's been a shortage of videos on my channel aside from the fight week stuff we did for this weekend's local fight card at the Hard Rock. I've been basically packing and moving stuff because I'll be moving out of my studio apartment very, very soon. And I've been trying to get my life in order, so that's why there hasn't been many videos coming out. But there will be some more interviews and footage from that night coming out after this video. But this video here, I'm just going to give you guys a brief overview of what happened at this weekend's local fight card here in South Florida. And that's what it is. So Rumble at the Rock, number 5, the 5th installment of the Rumble at the Rock series. Night of the Undefeated, as it was built up by Henry Revolta and the Heavyweight Factory. Heavyweight Factory doing big things here in South Florida, putting on some really good fight cards. Chico Rivas with great matchmaking. Gotta give credit to the fine folks, Henry Revolta and Chico Rivas, because they really did the damn thing on this one. So, just wanted to go through the whole card. And here we go. So, in our first fight, we had Ivan Dychko taking on Ray Austin. Ivan Dychko currently is ranked number 15 by the WBA in the heavyweight rankings. He's also someone that, he fought Anthony Joshua in the amateurs. He's someone that, 2-time bronze medalist, 6'9", really good punching power. Someone to watch in the heavyweight division. 6-rounder. He fought a 6-rounder against Ray Austin, the heavyweight veteran, a guy that's been in there with some of the best heavyweights out there. So this is a good test for Ivan Dychko. And Ray Austin, let's not kid ourselves. Ray Austin was 48 years old. He's not the Ray Austin that fought Klitschko or even 10 years ago. But Ivan was dominant from round 1 to round 3. Got the stop in the 3rd round. I talked to him after the fight, and he pretty much said that it was a good performance by him. He liked his performance. That he's getting more accustomed to the professional ranks of boxing. And it was really good stuff. Ray Austin was looking to catch and counter. He did catch Ivan with one good left hook in the 1st round. But other than that, you saw Ivan landing the jab at will, piercing, Ray Austin's face. You saw Ivan Dychko sometimes overshooting or missing with the right hand, but then he would come back with the left hook, and it was the money punch from the whole night. And he eventually was able to get the stoppage in the 3rd round, and he improved to 8-0 as he continues to move up the heavyweight rankings and just closer to being a top contender in the division. I asked Ivan after the fight if he thinks he's ready for 8 rounders. He said yes, he is. So we'll see what happens in his next fight. But overall, good performance for him against a good, tough heavyweight veteran in Ray Austin. Now, the fight that came after that probably was the fight of the night. It was one of those, barn burners, those local, every now and then on these local fight cards that aren't on television, you get these barn burners, these fight of the year type of fights. And we got one here. It was a 6-rounder between the Cuban, 5-0 Cuban super middleweight Irizvani Duvercho, 5-0 coming into this fight. He was taking on the unheralded and very unknown Jared Fenderson from Las Vegas, 5-2, 2 KOs coming into this fight. I looked at Jared Fenderson's resume. His most notable win came against Earl Spence sparring partner Adrian Taylor, which is not a bad one because Adrian Taylor is a decent fighter. So Fenderson, in this fight at least, I think he proved the notion that you can't always go by records. He proved to be a guy that is better than the record would indicate. The 3rd round of this fight was one of the best rounds of boxing I've seen in quite some time. Fenderson caught Duvercho, I believe it was with a left hook. It was a left hook early in the round, knocked him down, put him in some serious trouble. And then Duvercho responded in the next minute and a half of the round, scoring 2 knockdowns. Devastating knockdowns. And the fight just... that 3rd round, I think it was the 3rd round, was, probably going to be the round of the year for 2019 for me, for all of boxing. It was that damn good. And it brought the crowd at the Hard Rock Casino to its feet, all the 2,000 or 3,000 people that were there to its feet. And it was so good. It was such a good fight that they've already added it to the Rumble. They've already added it to the Rumble at the Rock 6 card, which will be on July the 12th at the Hard Rock Casino. And so they already have that. That's how good it was. And they immediately announced a rematch for July the 12th. So just overall good fight. Duvercho improved to 6-0. He's not your prototype or traditional Cuban fighter. Like a lot of Cuban fighters have that amateur background. They come from that Cuban school of boxing. But with Dychko, he likes to come forward. He's very much a guy that comes to fight. He is an all-action TV fighter, you know, and you guys will be hearing about him soon as he climbs up the ranks. But just really outstanding fight and great matchmaking from Chico Rivas, Henry Rivalta. You know, I can't say enough about that because you know I've been to some of these cards and maybe some of the matchmaking is a bit piss poor, or maybe it's not up to par. But this card right here, I believe, was absolutely exceptional. So yeah, that was probably the fight of the night between those two. And the next fight you had probably the only guy on this card that I can say with conviction in my heart, like unbridled conviction, not even a shadow of a doubt, I believe will be a world champion. Logan Yoon. He fought 58 fight veteran Robert Franco. Robert Franco's been in there with a lot of named fighters in the past, and you know, this is a fight for Logan Yoon where he was coming off of I believe it was. I think it was knee surgery. He told me he had injury on his knee, so he was coming off a knee surgery. You know, he wasn't as explosive as I'm accustomed to seeing him, but it was your prototype Logan Yoon type of a fight. You know, he pretty much outboxed this guy for the first half of this fight, but then it seemed somewhere around the 6th, 7th round, you saw Logan Yoon begin to catch that second wind, and his punches began to have more of an effect on Robert Franco. But he stayed composed. He stayed patient. It was a patient, mature performance from Logan Yoon, and he improved to 16-0, scoring a unanimous decision victory. I interviewed him after the fight. He told me he wasn't too pleased with his performance. He wanted the stoppage, couldn't get it. But you know, with Logan, it's like I go to these fights and you see, you know, a lot of people in press row and even in the crowd say he's a boring fighter. But I just think I think he's such a quality fighter that you got to put a certain level of fighter in front of him for him to really like have to fight and be, you know, exciting, so to speak. So just to give a good performance from him, despite the fact that he was way below 100%. You know, I think for him, you know, people forget that he's 20 years old. People forget that he's 20 years old, that he's still maturing, that he hasn't even gotten his man strength, and he's a smart fighter. He knows how to land punches. So as he continues to get better and evolve, the knockouts will come. He's one of the hardest working fighters I've ever seen. As far as in the gym, you know, anybody who's seen him train will tell you that he's one of the hardest working fighters they've ever seen. So yeah, I'm expecting big things from Logan Yoon, and hopefully on July the 12th they bring him back for Rumble About the Rock 6, and we can get him in an even better fight. So yeah, big shout out to Logan Yoon. The fight after that was Puerto Rican welterweight prospect Derek Cuevas, an amateur sensation. Derek Cuevas, he was taking on the 27-7-1 Albert Mensah from Tampa, and Cuevas, you know, this was an 8-rounder. Cuevas, he basically, you know, this is a fight where he had some problems early in the first round. You know, Cuevas broke his hand early on, and he messed up his hand. He messed up both. I think it was both of his hands, but no, that was another fight. He messed up one of his hands, and he was very reluctant to throw punches because he was a one-handed fighter practically. So he did a good job cutting off the ring. He was able to pick his shots, land his shots, but it was not anywhere close to his most sensational performance. You know, he was not letting his hands go the way you'd want him to. And I would say, even though he won the fight, you know, he left a lot to be desired in this performance against Albert Mensah. He even got caught a couple times with straight right hands on the ropes against Albert Mensah. And you know, we're looking for bigger and better things for Derek Cuevas in his next performance. Hopefully, he can deliver a better performance in his next fight because you know, there's a talented fighter in there. He is someone that I think could be a top contender in his next couple of fights. You know, I'm very good friends, and I'm very close to his trainer, Jesse Robinson, the great Jesse Robinson, who we have here on the channel quite often. And Jesse told me after the fight that you know, he wasn't very pleased with Derek's performance either. That, you know, he believes that Derek can be a better fighter than he was, and that you will see better things from Derek Cuevas in future fights. But overall, you know, boxing. So there's gonna be nights where, you know, where your performance is sometimes here and it's sometimes here, but no matter where your performance is at, you need to make sure you're just that much better than your opponent, and that's how you win fights, and that's what Cuevas is able to do. So yeah, tough fighter. He beat Albert Mensah, but not the kind of performance you want if you're looking to move into world championship status. And I know there's been rumblings that maybe he'll be headlining some cards here in South Florida. You know, if you're looking to be a headliner fighter here in South Florida at the Hard Rock, at the new event center they're planning on opening up soon, you know, you got to have better performances than that. But I believe it was just an aberration, and Cuevas will be better in the future. He did, you know, I've seen him fight a couple times. I could tell there was something wrong with him immediately after the first round. So despite that, he showed the ability to win, and true champions can adapt to any situation. So I think that's the positive you take from this if you're Derek, if you're Jesse Robinson, and all parties involved in his camp. So you have that. In terms of name value, the most notable fight on this card came later on in the night as Leon Navarro, Cuban amateur sensation Leon the Machine Navarro, took on former world champion and the always tough and durable and always game Breedis Prescott. Yes, that Breedis Prescott. And it was a good fight, man. It was a really good fight. Leon Navarro. This is my first time watching a fight. I heard a lot of good things about him. And Leon Navarro showed why they call him machine gun. He rips very quick, very precise, very sharp punches to the body. He was able to just overall, show why people rate him so highly. And I talked to Henry Rivalta, who is the promoter for the card, and Henry has always spoke glowingly of Leon Navarro. He's always told me about how great this guy is and how he can be the next Cuban world champion, the next Cuban amateur sensation to go on to become world champion. And he fought a guy in Prescott who we know is tough, who we know is someone that if you're not on your P's and Q's can upset the apple cards. And he wasn't able to get the stoppage, but he looked good, he looked sharp, and got the win. And that's the important thing. And he moved to 11-0, and he'll be looking to potentially be in some bigger fights down the road. So yeah, just a good performance with him. Good first impressions with him. I would say the most interesting thing about most of these Cuban fighters on this card is that they're not your traditional Cuban fighters. Whether we talk about Irzvani Duverchel or we talk about Leon Navarro, we're talking about fighters who, yes, they are from Cuba. Yes, they do come from a Cuban school of boxing, and they might even have some outstanding Cuban amateur exploits, but they don't fight in the traditional Cuban way. They are kind of what I like to call new age Cuban. They have that new age Cuban style to where, yes, they have that in their locker. They can fight on their back foot, but they show the ability and they show the wherewithal to come forward, to press forward, to fight, and they have pro styles, and they have adapted their style to the professional ranks of boxing. And Leon Navarro, I would say, definitely fit that bill, and that was on full display in his unanimous decision victory against Breedis Prescott in his 11th professional fight. So just big shouts out to him. And then the main event of the night came in a 4-rounder as South Florida's very own, my main man, 50 grand, Bad Blake Davis, Cooper City's very own. He fought, second professional fight. And before I even get into the fight itself, I wanted to say this, man. Bad Blake Davis is in a very, I would say he's in a very great position as a fighter, but he's also in a very dangerous position. And I'm going to explain to you why. Because with Blake, he's got everything you'd want in a fighter. If I was a promoter, he'd have everything you'd want. He's got a good story behind him. Like, he has a whole story about how he was a good athlete in high school, and then he went to a house party, and then these kids jumped him and beat the shit out of him, and then he had all these injuries, and all of his scholarships and sport opportunities went out the door. But then he went to the boxing gym to learn self-defense, and then he wound up competing, and then he became a pretty good amateur, and then he fought for Team USA with only 17 amateur fights. Like, the kid has a great story. He's clean cut, He's one of the very few fighters in boxing, I would say, who's a tall white boy with blue eyes. He can actually fight, so he's marketable. He's not, your run-of-the-mill fighter as far as, marketability is concerned. So you can definitely sell tickets, and he has sold tickets. His first fight, I don't know what he did his first fight because I wasn't there his first fight, but I know for this fight, second professional fight at the Hard Rock, of all the fighters on this card, he sold the most tickets. He sold, last time I asked him, I think he sold like $28,000 worth of tickets. So he probably sold well over $30,000 worth of tickets by the time the fight actually started, and the whole arena was there for him. They had people in the crowd with Bad Blake Davis shirts and black shirts and white shirts, and they were there for him. And I've never seen a fighter with only, from America at least, with 2 professional fights had this kind of buzz, and he's in a great position, but he's in a dangerous position because you're getting this very early in your career. And I tried to tell him this when I interviewed him, like, you're getting this early in your career, and normally guys, it takes them 15, 20 fights to get to this point, and he's already kind of gotten there. So he, fair play to him. He's marketed himself well. He's got a lot of people who are interested in what he's doing. I mean, for Christ's sakes, even my ex-girlfriend's mother, and shout out to Liana. Even my ex-girlfriend's mother, she's not like a hardcore boxing fan like myself or anybody that watches my channel. But I saw her on Facebook. She posted an article about Blake Davis. So it just goes to show you, where this kid is at least as far as locally, marketability wise. As for the fight itself, he fought a guy that he was supposed to go in there and look good against, and that was against Quintel Thompson, 2-7 from Columbia, Missouri. Safe opponent, early in his career. This was a showcase fight for Blake. Early in the first round, he landed a devastating 3-punch combination, knocked him down with a left hook. I thought he was gonna get the victory and overall just get the guy out of there. But this guy, credit to Quintel Thompson, man. Despite the fact that he wasn't gonna beat Blake Davis, he showed the ability to withstand the punishment. He showed durability to get through the 4 rounds. And on Blake's part, he particularly in that third round of his fight, he showed a really classy jab from the outside, and I think that's going to be a key punch for moving forward for Blake. He's right now Blake is fighting at light heavyweight, cruiserweight. He's hovering around those weights. I don't think he's really figured out where he wants to campaign at, because he told me he's a cruiserweight, but then yet he's fighting at light heavyweight. But then that doesn't make sense that he's fighting at light heavyweight, because he weighed in at 190, and that's not the light heavyweight weight limit. So with that being said, I don't think Blake's really figured out where he's going to campaign yet as a fighter. But regardless of where he campaigns at, I think the jab will be very paramount for him, because being as tall as he is, 6'5", if he's able to keep guys at the end of that jab, I know a punch that he likes to throw is the uppercut. So if he's able to measure and be able to land the uppercut and get that punch down in the professional ranks of boxing, he's going to be a dangerous fighter. And he definitely looks the part as a fighter. He looks like a guy that can go far in the sport. And as long as he keeps his head on straight and keeps his feet on the ground and stays humble and keeps working, and I think he will, because he strikes me as a kind of no-nonsense blue-collar guy. I think the big things are in store for Blake Davis. I think he'll be able to be the kind of fighter that can build a lot of buzz here in South Florida and make boxing fun again in South Florida. Me and Blake, we've hit it off kind of well. I met him for the first time, I'm gonna say a couple months ago. I'm gonna say late March. I met him, and that's when we did our first interview. And he was such a great guy, and we hit it off real good. And we got the plans of ourselves content wise, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, big shout out to Blake, and he got a 4-round unanimous decision victory. I talked to his trainers, Jeff Port. I'm be saying his name wrong, but Jeff Portis and Kevin Gleason, and they both agreed that even though Blake got a knockout in the first round of his pro debut, they thought this is a more complete performance from Blake Davis. So overall, it was a good performance from him. It was a great card at the Seminole Hard Rock Casino. Night of the Undefeated, it was great. I would say that the performance of the night has to go to or the fight of the night, I should say, has to go to Erzvani Duvichel and Jared Fenderson. That was probably my fight of the year in any card, any promotional company. I know that's the fight of the year in boxing right now. It's a shame that this wasn't televised, because boxing fans would have loved this fight. But yeah, leave your comments down below. Take the time to subscribe, like I say in every single one of these videos. You can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys.